Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Saints Live on location at the Stevenson Dining Hall on the campus of Limestone College and airing live on WZZQ. Welcome into this week's show. We were idle a week ago as the students enjoyed fall break, a little bit of time to get away before coming back and getting right back to the studies as we are knocking on the door. Well, we're midway through October, so that means we're knocking on the door in November. Thanksgiving will be here before you know it, but a lot to bring your way over the next 30 minutes as we take you behind the scenes of Limestone Athletics. Our student athlete guest for this week's show, Jamar Peete, who closed out his lacrosse eligibility here at the Rock Memorial Day weekend, leading the Saints to the Division II National Championship. And Jamar is now a member of the Limestone football program. We'll talk about his season and the Saints' inaugural season to date a little bit later. We will also talk women's volleyball this afternoon with Erin, Courtenay. She'll join us to talk about the season that has been so far for the Saints. Women's volleyball just one game out in the loss column in the South Division of the Conference Carolina standings. So we'll talk with Jamar and Erin a little bit later. As we like to do each and every week in our opening segment, we like to highlight some of the sports teams and the seasons to date. And women's field hockey has won 10 of its first 12 games on the season. And the Saints are number 5 in the latest Division II field hockey poll. That a 5th consecutive week. Men's soccer is up one spot to number 11 this week in their national ratings. The Saints are 11-1 overall, 7-0 within Conference Carolina's action and leading the way in the men's soccer side of things. And how about the men's and women's golf programs here at the Rock, breaking into the Golf Stat Division II national rankings in the most recent poll? The Limestone women's golf team is number 18 in the country, and the men's golf team is number 24. So congratulations to the Saints, the players, and their head coach in Zach Seifert. Preseason basketball polls were released since the last time we did Saints Live. Expectations are high for the two Limestone basketball programs this year. The women's basketball team and head coach Corey Fox, preseason ranked number 4 in the country, and the men's basketball team for the first time in the athletic department's NCAA era is ranked number 21 in the preseason side of things for Coach Brandon Scott and company. Want to go off to men's soccer, where congratulations going out to Harry Cooksley, the ECAC men's soccer Offensive Player of the Week. Of course, he led the Saints to a couple of key road wins last week, tallying a couple of goals. And former men's soccer standout Tom McCready. Congratulations to Tom, who recently made his professional soccer debut over in England. So you can certainly see and hear that it is indeed a great time to be a member of the Limestone College Athletics Department and to be a Saints student athlete. We invite you to stay tuned. There is so much more to come your way during the next 25 minutes or so when we continue with Saints Live. We're going to talk women's volleyball. That when we come back to the Stevenson Dining Center on the campus of Limestone College when Saints Live continues here on Gaffney's Hot FM. Hey everyone, as Saints Live, an inside look at Limestone Athletics continues from on campus in the Stevenson Dining Center and on WZZQ 104.3 FM. A little later, we're going to talk with Jamar Peete about the 2014 Saints football season, but we're going indoors right now. We're going to talk volleyball with women's volleyball standout in Erin, Courtenay. And Erin, good to see you. Thanks for coming and seeing us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, you and the girls have played a very tough non-conference schedule, and that's evident with the fact that you're sitting at 6-1 in conference play and just one game out in the loss column in the South Division. Let's talk about the season so far.
Well, we started off with a really tough schedule, like you said. We went down a few losses, but it was upsetting at first, but we realized that it really prepared us for conference play. After we got win after win after win, it felt good to be 6-1 in conference right now.
Not only winners of 3 consecutive matches, but how about wins in 7 of your last 9?
Yeah, that feels great, and getting a bunch of those wins at home is amazing to, show fans that, their support really does help us. So we thank all of them for coming out, too.
You and I talked about the tough non-conference schedule that you had to get you ready for Conference Carolina's action. What's the key to mentally keeping focused as you go through non-conference play and then you get into your conference slate? What's the key to kind of keeping things together, Erin?
Well, we have to realize as a team that volleyball is a game of errors. Points are scored, when either us or the other team messes up. So we just really can't let those errors build and let them affect us as we move on to the next point, because volleyball is all about errors.
You're from Charleston, so you're a Palmetto State native, attended Wando High School down there. Why don't you tell us about your major at the Rock?
I'm an early childhood education major. I work at a preschool, and so I love my kids. I love them so much, and I realize that, if I can wake up every single day and love going to work, it really doesn't matter if I'm making like $100,000 a year or $30,000 a year. I'm going to enjoy my job every day of my life. So.
Tell us about the road that brought you to Limestone. I know you were a standout in the prep ranks, but tell us about the road that got you here to the Rock.
Well, I had a few other schools looking at me. I had Francis Marion, Winthrop, and Coker, just to name a few, and it came down to what is going to get me out of college with the least amount of debt and, moving forward in my life. Because, being an early childhood education major, I'm not really going to want to pay all those student loans. So the best option there was definitely Limestone.
How about some of your experience is here at Limestone?
Well, one of the reasons I like Limestone is because it's a very tight-knit community of, a bunch of us are athletes. And so it's, professors understand that we're athletes. We miss class sometimes. We're busy. We have a men's volleyball team, which is really cool, which I had never experienced before. So they're a great group of older brothers, and take care of us and look out for us.
Now, I didn't ask you this question as we had our sit-down before the interview, but any brothers or sisters?
I have a little brother. He's actually about to be 15 next week, so I think I'm going to go home and surprise him.
Now, I wonder if it was interesting growing up in the Courtenay household, because your dad for a while had a pretty interesting profession. Tell us what your dad did.
Well, for 20 years, my dad was a professional ice hockey player. So growing up, I was always in and out of rinks and around hockey. And he played minor leagues, but when he was in the NHL, he played for the San Jose Sharks. But I was a baby, so I don't really remember that. But I grew up around hockey, and still to this day, he coaches hockey at the Citadel. So I'm always around hockey.
So did you have an opportunity to play hockey? I mean, it sounds like you might have been an arena rat, so to speak, with your dad being in professional hockey for that long, and then in the NHL with the San Jose Sharks. Did you ever have aspirations to play the sport?
I did when I was little, and I was living in Canada and stuff. But when we moved to Charleston, the rink is 30 minutes away, so it's really hard to get to just skate and stuff. So I know I can skate, and but I don't really go anymore because it's just so far.
So did Dad ever say, "Erin, here, stand here for a minute. I've got to work on my cross-check and boarding here"?
No. I would not stand in front of him for that.
Let's close out by asking if you were to sit down in front of a potential recruit that was looking at Limestone College and some other schools. How about some of the selling points about the Rock to that recruit?
Well, Limestone volleyball is all about buying in, and it's all about believing in the process that things are going to get better. So I would just say, we are like a family here. So if you're looking, and it's small, so if you're looking to really get one-on-one with professors and with coaches and with each other, it's a really great place to do that. It's very tight-knit community.
And of course, we want to encourage folks. You talked about the home success that you've had this year in the Timken Center, which is where the women's volleyball team plays. We want to encourage folks to come out to the matches for the remainder of the season, and they can catch a schedule and more information on you and your teammates online at GoLimestoneSaints.com.
Yeah, next Friday, home game at 7.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for taking time to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Erin, Courtenay, women's volleyball, our guest. We invite you to stay tuned. Saints Live will continue from the Stevenson Center on the campus of Limestone College after these messages on Gaffney's Hot FM. As Saints Live continues from the Stevenson Dining Hall on the campus of Limestone College here on WZZQ. Time now to go from one standout student athlete to another. Jamar Peete now joins us up front and center. And Jamar, good to see you there, number 12.
Good to see you.
Of course, you were a former standout on the lacrosse level here at Limestone. Of course, your career culminated in somewhat good fashion Memorial Day weekend as you were very instrumental in leading the Saints to the Division II National Championship up in Baltimore, Maryland. Had to be an exciting way to close out your career, Jamar.
Yes, sir. It was everything I expected.
Talk about that season a year ago. I don't want to say there weren't many expectations, but I think in the eyes of the national folks, not a lot was expected from the team, and it was a squad that may have not had the one or two superstars, but it was probably a team effort. Talk about last season.
Well, after experiencing it, or an actual loss, and everything that the national championship had to offer, and losing, coming up short, I guess the group of guys came together and we said we weren't going to have that feeling again. So we used that and turned it around into a positive and was able to pull out. And I'm actually still kind of currently living the national championship now.
I think a lot of us are still living that national championship victory and hopefully continue to do so for a long time because it was a memorable experience. So you finish your eligibility on the lacrosse field in May, and you still have 1 year to which you could play sports on the collegiate level with the NCAA rules. And what sport did you decide to go to?
I try to stick to the aggressive type of sport, so I went to football.
You went to football, and you've gone from saying, hey, Coach, I'd like to have an opportunity to be on the team, to now being a record setter. You're now starting in the secondary and set a program record with the first ever defensive touchdown in program history, doing that against North Greenville, scooping up what was a fumble and returning it for a touchdown. Talk about that run, Jamar.
Well, I actually didn't do the right assignment for the coverage, but I guess it paid out to be a plus. Saw the running back running out in the flat and gave him a nice little shot. Ball rolled right in between my legs, so the only thing I was going to do was pick it up and run. Even if they blew the whistle, I think I was going to continue to run. So.
Now, when I was talking with Jamar on the field before the Payne football game, I asked, why in the world did you decide to go play football? And I want you to be very honest, because I know how you responded to me on the field, so I know the truth. What was your answer to that?
It's my midlife crisis.
At the age of 22?
Yes.
So he's already used his midlife crisis up at the age of 22. Talk about your education here at Limestone. Your major is?
Sports management with a business administration minor.
And once you're through with your education here at Limestone, of course, you're knocking on the door of graduating here at the Rock. What would you like to do?
I'm going to continue to work with a nonprofit organization where we serve for underprivileged kids and communities, and also adults and wellness centers. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Let's talk about several years ago when you made your way down to Limestone, Baltimore, Maryland product, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got to go home and win the national championship in front of the home folks. Talk about the decision to come down and play lacrosse at Limestone.
I think the weathers what caught me. Whereas my visit was during the wintertime, and everyone was wearing shorts and T-shirts, and I enjoy the weather, but I would go with the recruiting with Coach Sereno, and pretty much told me everything a recruit, a senior in high school, would want to hear, and drawn me in, and also the welcoming of the current players and the alumni that came and gone. and they pretty much made this place my home.
You know, you've had a lot of great experiences here at Limestone. You're one of the handful of athletes that has actually had the agony of defeat. Let's go back to the national championship game a couple of years ago against Dowling, and then in 2013 suffered the heartbreaking loss in the semifinals at Mercyhurst. You talked about fueling the fire for that national championship back in May. So certainly, as an athlete, you've been on both sides of great wins and tough losses, and what a way to close it out for you.
Yes, I could kind of like say my career has been a bit successful, but until this past season, we've came up short, and it always felt like we had enough, but not enough. And so, like you said, like fueling off the revenge losses, they went from revenge to like making a statement, like this is it, like this is the one we need, like this is our last hope, this is our last opportunity, so this is where we're going to take it.
Quickly, may not be a fair question, but the differences between getting ready to play a football game and getting ready to play a lacrosse game?
I guess lacrosse, it was a lot more mental. I play like in a way a larger role. And for football, it's like more relaxed, I think, because of the people and like the excitement and the fun that everyone has in the locker room. But lacrosse was always fun in the locker room. We have like our ritual like dances that everyone do, you know, just to loosen up. And I was more of telling everyone to relax for lacrosse and like just calm down, let's have some fun, get comfortable. And for football, like everyone's always relaxed, so like they're always willing to have fun and just like show that no matter what adversity you're going through right now, like we can always just pull together as a team.
Jamar, listen, it was awesome to watch you work in the 2014 lacrosse season en route to the national championship, and we've enjoyed watching you on the gridiron to date in 2014, the inaugural season for the Limestone football program. Thanks for taking time to join us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jamar Peete, our guest on the latest segment of Saints Live. Stay back. We're going to close out our latest show after these messages when Saints Live continues from the Stevenson Dining Hall on the campus of Limestone College here on Gaffney's Hot FM.